So I began to research, and I've actually got some of this research published if anybody wants to read it. I began to research, and particularly about resistant strategies that are used and why certain organisms can actually do that. Not every organism can do it. Some of the, some that are quite simple that, you could take a number of different types of antibiotics and have no problem with it. Then there's a set of other microbes that tend to have resistance, and some of that has to do with their DNA makeup, and these particular ones can sense, they have sensors. It sounds like science fiction or something. They have sensors, and it actually has to do with something called quorum sensing, which is really interesting, which is a communication. It's like the internet for bacteria. They can communicate with each other. So if they sense that an antibiotic is attacking the colony, then they can signal an SOS message to the group to pay attention. They've actually memorized what chemical killed them off, and then they actually use something called efflux pumps. And again, this sounds just like, it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. That's what I thought. I had no idea something like this was going on. So an efflux pump is an actual mechanical pump that, so if the bacteria happens to sense what chemical and they memorize that chemical, then they can use the efflux pumps to literally pump that chemical out of their cells. Thus, it protects them from the antibiotic. So, and there's a whole classifications of these efflux pumps. I'd have to review my notes. I know there's an A, B, C, and there's a whole bunch of them. And so some of the question was how, a lot of the research is how can you stop this from going on, and how can you stop the efflux pumps from happening. So I had some guy on my forum who was very well educated. Him and his wife were dealing with some, I don't know what kind of pathogen, but it was like a Lyme-like, it was causing them chronic fatigue, classic chronic fatigue stuff. And he was very nice, and he shared with me information about golden field leaf, and not the root, because there's the root is a different chemical composition than the leaf. And he said that there was enough of these particular chemicals that could stop the efflux pumps from happening. So I started on that, and I started to receive some decent results. And then I began to explore more on other strategies, how to bind efflux pumps or some other mechanism to stop the antibiotic resistance.